Today's episode is sponsored by Some Edibles CBD infused products. That's SUM Edibles and can be found at someedibles.com. They have a variety of yummy treats, including
vegan organic gummies,
brown buttered chocolate chip cookies,
and marshmallow cereal bars, just to name a few.
For fans of the podcast, you can use the promo code WIFE, that's WIFE, to receive 10% off your order.
Again, promo code WIFE for 10% off your order.
So, head to someedibles.com today. Hey everybody, welcome to Drunken Housewife Reviews. I'm Sarah, the Drunken Housewife.
And I'm her host, husband Ian, who tries to keep her on track as best I can.
And it's a full-time job. We have friend of the show, Bryan Parkerson, back.
Yes.
To talk about all things blood repentance. And Bryan, you want to introduce the star of your show to everybody?
Yes. We have a very, very dear friend of mine, the OG, Honey Michelle Gregory.
Hey.
Need some background on that. Let's
How did this miracle casting happen?
Well, Bryan tells that story way too well, so go ahead, Bryan.
Oh boy. Well, okay, so it started, I guess it was last November.
I think it was earlier than that, wasn't it? Like last summer.
It was between October and December. I had decided to start my podcast, and I was thinking so in the story I told you guys last time about running across Monster Vision again and just fall in love with that, and I knew who Honey was, and I thought man, she'd be a really cool person to have on the show, and I knew that she had become an attorney, so I looked her up on Google, found her law firm. And I was sitting at work. It was like a 9 a.m. and my heart was pounding. I was so nervous about calling this person. I was so nervous about calling you. And I was like psyching myself up. I'm like, okay, you just got to get past the receptionist. If you can just talk to her, you can get her to come on the show, So I called and I didn't recognize her voice. I thought I was talking to your receptionist. And so I said, hey, my name is Bryan Parkerson. I'm starting a podcast, and I would love to have you on the show because I know, Honey did this show called Monster Vision back in the 90s, and she asked what the interview was about. And she's like, well, this is Honey. And I'm like, I'm just like, holy crap, I've been talking to her the whole time. And she agreed to come on the show. And we just over the months, we've just become friends. And just on a whim, what was it? Honey, how did it go? You had sent me like a meme or something the morning that we had talked about you coming down for the film. And I don't remember the context of how it was. I just decided there was something. And I got this idea, it'd be really cool. You had talked about maybe coming to visit or something like that, or coming to check out the set. And I got to think, I'm like, if she does it, I'm going to put her in the movie. So I called one of my business partners, and I bounced the idea off of her, and I couldn't get a hold of my other one. I was like, you know what? I'm making an executive decision on this one. We're going to have her in the movie if I can. So, I was driving to an appointment, and I called her, and I just bounced this idea of having her get chased into a cemetery or something. I was just kind of bouncing ideas, and she loved the idea. And we put it on the calendar to come down, and hung up that call. And I'm like, that really just happened? Is she really going to come down and be in this first movie that I'm making? I'm like, how is that a thing? And I got to tell you, I've never been so nervous in a week. The week leading up to, we shot her scenes on June 16th. And that was the most terrifying week. I had a COVID scare. I thought for sure I took 3 COVID tests. I was worried I was getting COVID. And I was like, something is going to ruin this. Something is going to ruin this. And no, but it happened. And she drove down, and we met up, and it was awesome. I mean, it will literally always be. I mean, I could work with Quentin Tarantino, and it would not top my memory of getting to have her in a movie.
That's great.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, it's just, I mean,
everybody has their little heroes and stuff like that. Even if it's something niche like that. I mean, but I watch Monster Vision too. Not saying it's totally obscure, but it's like what I'm saying. I'm trying to be nice. Sorry.
I think a lot of people our age, though, if you say Monster Vision, then they're like, oh yeah,
exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But then a lot of times they'll be like, yeah, and there's that chick.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, she
What was
in
her
that.
yeah, what was her name? I think that's the joy of IMBD now
Yeah.
is, oh my God, isn't that chick that was in such and such? And then you can be like, okay, what is her name? And look it up. And then you're like, oh, and then she's been in,
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the joys these days of
Nice.
IMBD right there in your, in your hot little hand, because there are so many people that you know them, you see them on screen and something else, even if it's just a brief part, and you're like, I know them from somewhere.
Yeah.
What do I know them from? And
Well, that happened to me
Yeah.
last night. My daughter and I were watching the original Top Gun because she'd never seen it, and we're going to go see Maverick. And I kept looking at a couple of people who had like short little, roles. I'm thinking, who are they? I know they're famous. I know they moved on after that. And it turned out one of them was Clarence from Walker, Texas Ranger. I was like, oh my God, I've actually met this person. No wonder he looks familiar.
Gotcha.
yeah, we love IMBD here. Our daughter is very into movies. She's that's part of like her autism like thing is movies.
Yeah, like she can
and
tell you the producer and who was in this, and,
wow.
this, and like connected.
That's
It's
super
all in
cool.
her- yeah.
it is like we were watching a movie and she was like, oh, Janet Healy, she was also the executive producer of blah 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 blah. And I'm like, who knows executive
Wow.
producers?
Yeah.
Who? My daughter. Yeah. So
That is super cool. So
It
she,
is-
will she
yeah.
actually sit and study IMDb? Like she'll just pull it up and read it and stuff?
she'll
Oh,
be
yeah.
because she'll be like, well, what else has that person been in? And we'll be like, you have IMDb. And she's like, oh, okay.
And yeah, she
And
does all the
yeah,
research
And
herself.
she'll tell you like what studios, put it
Yeah.
out. And well, this person has done stuff that was productions of this studio and this studio and this studio. And this is their first time at Disney and, stuff like
Yeah.
that. And she's just an amazing little resource for us sometimes. It's like,
That is super cool.
yeah, it's like, Maddie, who else, what else was this person in? And she's like, oh, they were in, and she'll list it off. And it's fun watching the Oscars with her for like best song categories or best animated feature categories. Like best song, she'll be like, oh yeah, that person that wrote that song, they also wrote the songs for,
Well, yeah.
all of this without any prompting. And so it's that and her multiplication tables. She is such a good resource for that too.
Aw.
Because it's like, what's
Sweet.
what's such and such times such and such, and she's like, oh, that's blah blah blah. And it's like,
I can't do that, man.
yeah, yeah,
So let me consult my calculator.
yeah,
Yeah, me too.
yeah. I love
Or
that.
I
Yeah,
talk to my daughter who gets A's in math. I'm like, can you do this for mommy?
No, you said, look, I did my time in math class. I don't have to answer your questions. Like,
yeah.
I'm
What
not
what
on
I
trial
love
here.
what I love is in my generation, it's like, well, you have to know this. You're not always going to have a calculator in your hands. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do.
well.
Yeah, right here, right here.
Well, the weird thing is that I was actually good in math. I was in calculus in high school, but it's like the future of math for me would be just sitting in a cubicle or something like that. And it's like I was just too wacko creative to just be confined like that. And so I couldn't take it.
You're a wacko creative. That's news.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back to the movie. We kind of
Yes.
got
Back to the movie.
sidetracked a little, which happens once the vodka hits. You never know.
Did you tell everybody else what you're drinking?
Yeah. I told Honey, but
I told you, but we were recording at the time.
mom water for all your hydration needs.
Is this like Karen on it? There's
It
a-
does.
Yes, this is why
Karen,
I got
yes.
it. We were at the store and I saw these cans and it said Karen, and I'm like, I have to try it just for the name. I have to give it a try.
Yeah,
And
but what if the next full moon that happens, you turn into a Karen?
There you go.
I've had so much of it that I don't think that's possible.
She's immune. She's
Yeah.
immune.
I'm immune, and I've worked retail too much. I think I'm immune. I have anti-Karen antibodies in my body. So
Oh yeah.
yeah. So
I had speaking of alcohol, I'm not a super big drinker. I will occasionally. And once I found out I have celiac disease, I love beer. Like I love craft beers. I love, just
I'm
but
there with
when-
you. Yeah.
But when you have celiac disease, you can't drink them because they have gluten in them, which is a
Yeah.
bummer. So I just basically just quit drinking altogether. But I had something called a screwdriver the other night, and it was awful. It was terrible. Like I think it was like if the cup were like this big, I think 3/4 of it was vodka with like a little bit of orange juice, and it just it was awful. I was like, I don't remember vodka tasting like this. It was very because vodka usually has that like minty flavor to it.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
This was like a weird kind of wheat flavor. I don't know. It was strange. I did not enjoy that drink at all.
That's what I love about this, because I mean, it's water, but it also has, I add my own lemon to it. So I don't really taste the vodka in it, which is good and dangerous. Because then you just want to like drink a lot of it, because it's like, oh, this is so refreshing because of the water, but I'm also consuming vodka. It's like,
I remember the first time I had a margarita with Patron in it. I went to a Mexican restaurant with a friend of mine, and this was like, I was like, I don't know, I was probably 21, a long time ago, and I decided to get a margarita, and I didn't really know a whole lot. So he's like, put Patron in. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So it's Patron Silver, I think. And I remember taking the first sip of that thing, and it was like, woo, like, I mean, you could really, but man, by the time you finish it, you don't even notice the alcohol anymore. It's just
Yeah.
like,
That's yummy.
That's a good margarita.
yeah,
That's why I have margarita right there.
yeah. The margaritas at our local restaurant, the first couple of sips, you're just like, and then after that, you're just like, this is so good.
yeah.
It mellows you out. You just like mellow.
Yeah. After, and then after 2, you're just like, sure, whatever. I'm just going to sit here with my yummy little beverage.
Yeah, but I feel it the next day because the acid just kills my stomach.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I totally understand that. Totally understand that. Okay.
We should probably get back to
We
the
should probably
movie.
get back to the movie. Yes. So, it's called Blood Repentance,
Mhm.
even though on IMDb there's 2 different names, and that's a whole story. So Bryan, give us just like a summary, like a little plot summary of this movie
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
intrigue
Absolutely.
people.
So I was actually lamenting over answering some of these questions with a friend of mine before I jumped on today, because I was like, there are so many twists in this film. It's going to be like a 20-25 minute film, but like there's a lot of twists. I'm like, I was telling her, I was like, I think I made a mistake putting so many twists in it, because I can't talk about the movie without giving things away, it seems like.
Yes.
Sure.
But
Sure.
essentially the premise is these 4 friends get together. They work for a paranormal investigation company. The 5th member of the group has just completely disappeared. They've been gone for 3 days, so they go out on a search, and all hell breaks loose. And I want it to be an extremely uncomfortable movie to watch. It's not like a gross out thing. It's not like a taboo subject kind of thing. It's just going to be uncomfortable, because the story is ultimately about loss and redemption. And I really play that heavy, those 2 things, because I think that's a big I think loss and redemption are 2 of the biggest things that happen in our lives. So I really want to display that. And it just happens to have a sprinkle of vampire stuff in it as well. But it's really character driven. It's really heavy on, emotion. Like it's going to be a tough film to watch. I think it'll be good. The people that have seen the script, the feedback that I've gotten has been good. So we're really excited about it. It was really cool getting to write Honey in, though, because her part in particular, we actually got to change the ending a little bit to include her part.
Oh,
Okay.
So I'm really excited about that.
awesome.
Well,
So
those are definitely happy accidents.
yeah, I
Yes.
mean, and I mean, it shows that, to me at least, like good directors and good screenwriters, like when they get into it, realize, oh, wait a minute, if I change this just a little bit, then it's gonna really be a whole lot better. And
Oh yeah.
I love people that let that process happen.
The project's been rife
yeah.
with that. It's been absolutely rife with that. And that goes back to something I talked about on our last interview, that you need to be open to collaboration.
Mm-hmm. You
Oh,
do.
yeah.
You do.
Um,
Yeah. Because I know I just did a convention, Days of the Dead, and got to talk to a lot of actors. And that's one thing they said is they really love it when they get into a project and they're in their character's head, you know, and they're talking to the director and they're like, you know, everything I'm feeling about this character, I really feel that they would do it this way. And the director's like, okay, let's try it. And they said they really love that as an actor when the director's like, let's try it. Let's see, you know, and
well, some directors do.
Some directors do,
Yes.
and some directors don't.
Some have egos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That was
I have my vision.
That-
That's gonna be in my vision.
Yeah. That was brought up. That's why they were like so
But
appreciative.
I think a good director does listen and at least let the actors kind of play with it a little bit just to see, because sometimes just experimenting with things does discover something that no one thought of.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, sometimes, you know,
sometimes you use it and sometimes you don't. It just depends on what they're bringing to it and how logical it is, I guess, for the character to be doing that at that moment or having that emotion at that moment or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I was really fortunate when I was on Monster Vision, because sometimes John and I would rehearse a scene before we'd shoot it, and we'd sometimes do it in multiple ways and figure out. And a lot of times we would go ahead and shoot it just and try different things just to see what would stick. And a lot of times we like just playing around.
Yeah. Because I mean, sometimes being able to have that wiggle room, you know, to try a different nuance or try a different blocking or something like that.
Oh yeah.
You know, within the script, you discover something that just makes it a little more cohesive, a little better. You know, you've got to be allowed to do, I feel you've got to be allowed to do those tweaks. And, you know, like I said, the actors that I talked to this weekend were all like, yeah, directors that let us kind of, you know, play with that and, you know, give ideas and stuff they really appreciate. And then they brought up, then there are directors that are like, no, this is the way we're doing it. This is the way we're shooting it. I don't want to hear anything from you. And it's like those, you know, when they mention names, which I'm not going to mention, thinking back on it, I'm like, well, that's probably why that movie sucked then, because it was so rigid. And, you know, as somebody that's been both in the director's seat and on stage, you know, I see things from both ends, and I'm like, yeah, you really kind of gotta let the actors find the groove, because once you allow them to find that groove, then you're going to get magic. But if you're just like, no, this is how it's going to be, this is the vision I have in my head, and we're not going to stray from it, and blah blah blah, the actors are not going to give you 100%, I feel.
And you really don't have a movie at that point. I mean, like most things, I mean, it's a very people driven thing. And, you know, I as a director, I'm nothing without my people. Like I could be the next Steven Spielberg, but if I'm not surrounded by good people that believe in the same vision, I've done nothing. Like I want to brag. I want to brag on Honey. I really want to brag on Honey.
Let's brag on Honey. Yes.
Yeah, I want to brag. I want to brag about this one for a second. I love this person very much. You know, she's one of my best friends, and she has no idea how nervous I was. I don't think I've told her exactly how nervous I was, her coming down for the film. I was terrified. I was worried something was going to ruin it, but she did something very early on that I will never forget. And it touched my heart immensely. And she sent me a simple little message over Facebook. She said, "I'm anxious." And I told her, it's just me. Don't be anxious. But what I've not told her, what that communicated to me, is how much she cared about what I was doing and cared about my project. Because, you know, sometimes I feel this kind of like, I don't want to call it imposter syndrome, but sometimes I forget what I'm doing. I'll tell myself, like, I'm just making this little rinky dink movie or whatever. But it meant the world to me that she cared enough about this movie and took it so seriously that she was actually anxious about it. About doing
I was nervous. I won't lie. I was nervous. Well, I hadn't done anything like that in a long time. And I knew it meant so much to you that I was like, oh God, I hope that I can do this where he'll be pleased with it and, you know, want to include it in this film. You know, it doesn't wind up on the cutting room floor because I suck.
No, there's no way that would happen. But so you guys are getting kind of an exclusive conversation here. Like I don't know if I told you this, but that meant the world to me. And I'll tell you, like she and I met ahead of time for dinner. And it was so funny because it was like, this is the first time she and I met in person. We had talked a lot before then, but I felt like I was meeting somebody I'd known for 20 years. And
yeah, I did too. It's like my daughter and I are sitting there and we're like, I wonder where Brian is. Okay, what time is it? And then all of a sudden comes one, I was like, oh, hey, there's Brian. Just like I'd seen him like 1,000 times.
Yeah. It was so interesting. And then we get on set, and it's funny to watch her walk in the room. She is very much one of those people that like she's everybody's friend. She walks in, the room just lights up, and just everybody falls in love with her. And she's she is very much a professional actress. She's like, hey, what do you want? What do you think's best? And I'm just like, well, what's more, and it was kind of funny because we had this dialogue going about like what she was going to wear. And I'm just like, so I actually, let me tell you another inside story. So
we love inside stories. I love inside.
Tell how you went shopping.
Yes, that's exactly where I was going. So I needed to go get clothes. I needed to have some wardrobe for her to try. So, so there was like this kind of range of sizes. So I go to, I think it was Ross. I go to Ross, and I'm in the women's clothing section, and I'm just like, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing right now. I literally was so lost. I mean, I have no idea what I'm doing. So I like texted her, and I was like, poor thing, she was driving, and she actually called me, and she's walked me through like buying clothes. Honey, what I don't think you know though is after I got off the phone with you, I went and grabbed this like random old lady that was shopping as well.
Oh, I think you told me about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, ma'am, can you help me? So like I'm sitting, I was so lost. I have like no idea what I'm doing. So I picked out like I don't know what 4 outfits or something like that, but it was so great. So I bring these outfits. She just kept saying like, well, what do you want? What do you want? In my mind, I'm just like, well, what's most comfortable for you? But she's just such a delight to work with. She's so professional. She's so friendly. Everybody loved her. I mean, like everybody fell in love with you that night. Everybody did. Everybody has nothing but just the highest praise for you.
I had a good time. Everybody was really sweet and fun. And I could tell they were a little nervous. And I was like, we're all nervous. We're all trying to get back into this. And so but everybody was lovely. I mean, I had a great time. And now they're all friends on Facebook. And I get to hear their life stories and what they're doing, and it's fantastic.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Cool. I mean, that shows, Brian, that you're really creating a positive, atmosphere on your sets, which is vitally important because, like I said, talking to, a bunch of the celebrities, I've heard so many horror stories from them. And then I've heard I would work with this director, if I had to fly to the ends of the earth, because I just love working with them and the atmosphere and all of that. And it's like, word gets around about directors and the atmosphere that they create on set. So too, yeah.
Like when I worked on Walker, Texas Rangers, I was on there twice, and both times I got there, went to hair, went to makeup. And before I even shot my scenes, Chuck Norris, in between takes, would walk off the set and come find whoever the day players were for that day and come over, introduce himself. He was super kind. He was super friendly. Can we get you anything? Or you've been taken care of? Or you're comfortable? Blah, 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 blah. And he didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
It wasn't his job to do that, but it was his show, and he made sure that anybody who worked on his set for his show was taken well care of, and he didn't just leave it in the hands of his crew. So I thought that was really special.
Yeah, that shows something too, because
So you want to work with someone like that. You don't want to go on a set and you just feel like, well, nobody cares about me today. Okay, I'm over here starving, sweating, thirsty, whatever. Because it's not your set.
Yeah. But I mean, again, those stories get around. What is the old commercial? I told 2 people and they told 2 people, and and it just cascades. So the good, the bad, and the ugly gets out there, whether you want it to or not. And
I mean, it's a big family thing. You want it to feel like a family atmosphere. You want it to be a lot. I mean, we all, and it was great. I mean, like we actually ran. My inexperience as director came out a couple times that night. Like I ended up at like one point we had shot like 4 or 5 takes, and then I suddenly realized you could see our reflections in the window in the kitchen we were in. I was like, oh no, and the lighting changed, and so And Honey was very patient. In the back of my head, I'm sitting here thinking like, oh gosh, I'm so worried about how late it's getting and stuff like that. And man, she was such a trooper, and we would cut up. We had, there was a scene where she's taking these dish gloves off. And she had to get a little MacGyverish at one point. And this was probably one of the funnier things that happened that night, so we got this really good take going, and then it comes time for her to pull these gloves off, and she's like sitting there like trying to pull the glove off, and it won't come off. So,
my hands started sweating in these rubber gloves. And so all of a sudden they were stuck. I couldn't get them off for anything. And so I broke character. I couldn't help it. It's like I'm pulling and pulling and pulling. Next thing I know, I'm just busting out laughing because it was obvious that
things were not going to work.
So what we ended up doing, she put salt in them. She came up with the idea of just putting salt in the gloves, and it fixed the problem.
Yeah, absorbed all the water in the gloves and on my hands, but then my fingers look like prunes.
I was gonna say, yeah, but I never would have thought of that. I seriously never would have thought of that. I would have just been like,
so, yeah,
what do we do?
We were looking for like powder or anything through the place where you had what was it, like a B&B or whatever?
It's Airbnb, yeah. It was an Airbnb.
And the only thing I could find, I just happened to be looking through the cabinets and they had salt, and I was like, oh my God, that'll work.
Well,
it did. It worked like a champ.
There you
really
go.
Did.
Rock and roll.
You never know until you try it.
Guys, just to be honest with you, I'm probably gonna spend this whole podcast bragging about Honey because she's awesome. So she actually, and to me, one of the greatest signs of a good actor or actress is ability to emote and act without dialogue. And she did some really awesome stuff that night. I mean, like the script was really she had no dialogue. There's literally no dialogue. It was all ad lib stuff. And I didn't know that you could actually ad lib like emoting. I don't know the technical acting terms, I guess, but I didn't know that you could ad lib beyond dialogue, man. So she started doing these really, so like, there's this one scene where she goes to answer the door for the second time. And she just had this like really annoyed look on her face. Doesn't have to say a word. She's really just emoting well.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just slams the door. And it was like, dude, that is awesome. Yes. Keep doing that. Keep doing that,
But I was afraid I was overacting, because normally when you're acting, it's the subtlety, the camera picks up the teeniest little eye twitch, and I'm like, okay, I have no lines. How am I going to get this point across? But then I was worried, like, okay, is this like way too much? Because it felt big.
But I mean, sometimes like scenes like that, if you can physically get across what the character would be thinking, I mean, that's gold. It's just, it's amazing. I know I think one of the first people on the whole Peter Dinklage train. And people are like, well, why do you think he's such an amazing actor? I'm like, just in his eyes. The man has expressive eyes. And when they do that close up, you can tell he's able to just, shoot out through his eyes. I am super pissed, or I am super worried, or, stuff like that. And I'm like, just keep your eye on this guy. He's going to be amazing. And so, yeah, Honey, for you to be able to like physically show people what that character is thinking without any dialogue.
I just was worried it was too big, but
no,
it turned out all right.
No, it was very natural. I mean, like going back and look at the footage. I mean, like it was very naturally acted. Like it was. I mean, like to me, I never would have thought you could ad lib beyond, because typically you think ad lib, but like I don't think she spoke a word of dialogue. I think it was all just like a sigh, or just it was all body.
I did say hello. Did I say hello? I can't remember if I said hello.
Maybe you did it a couple takes. I can't remember.
I don't know if I ever did. I think you're right. I think I was going to, and then I didn't do it. I was just
but probably in that scene, just watching it, it's like everybody's like, okay, I know exactly what she's thinking. I know exactly what's going through her mind. And that is like a talent, seriously, to be able to just let everybody know what's going on in your head without speaking a word, even slamming a door. I mean, it's amazing. It's acting, honey. It is you're an actor.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, well, but the fact
I
didn't even think about writing that in. She did it, and then I think she's like, it's okay if I do it. I'm like, yes, absolutely, it is. Like, keep.
I was just thinking, okay, if someone, I mean, this has happened to me, okay, in my lifetime, where the neighborhood kids ring the doorbell and then they're not there,
Gotcha,
Yes,
And I
yes.
won't lie, because we used to do that when we were kids too.
Yeah,
You're
sure.
bored in the neighborhood, nothing to do. What do you do? And I
Yeah.
won't use the word and term that we used to use back in the
Yes,
60s.
yes.
But we did that. We would go anonymously knocking on people's doors. And so basically it was like, okay. And as an adult, I remember this happening, someone ringing your doorbell and then there's nobody there,
Yeah.
So you're just,
But yeah,
no
when we did it,
lines.
yeah.
You're feeling it. You're feeling it.
Yeah, because I know, when we were younger, it's like, okay, Joe's the fastest runner. So he's the one we're going to send up. And then we're all going to be hiding in the bushes across the street. And we're just going to be
And watch.
laughing hysterically when they come to the door. And
Exactly.
yeah, fast forward a few years and you're just like, seriously, I did this to people.
Yeah.
I was an annoying child and I'm surprised I
Yeah.
didn't get smacked on a daily basis.
It's the universe's way of just letting you know, like, it's funny how life is so full of that kind of stuff. It's like you get those full circle moments.
Yes.
But yeah, honey was just such a trooper. We put her through the ringer that night. Like there was one scene in particular I actually was really, really worried about. And because I worry about the comfort of my actors. I want to make sure they're comfortable. I want to make sure they feel safe. I want to make sure that they're having a good time. So there's one scene in particular, and I can't tell you what it is, but there was one scene in particular I was really, really worried about.
Okay.
And Honey and Corey, they just, we did like 5 or 6 takes, and it was just like, it was just, my anxiety just went away because they were both very comfortable. They both were professional. They both, and what's funny is, like, believe it or not, the best take, this is what it was like behind the scenes. Like, so there's a pan shot that follows Corey, and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful pan. I'm like, okay, this is the take right here. I'm sitting there thinking that, and I'm following him. The entire cast is right there. I'm like, oh no. And I literally stopped and I was like, you guys are all in the scene. And we all just started laughing. But the whole night was full of that. I mean, we shot for about 4 hours. It got pretty late. And
the blooper reel probably longer than the actual
yeah, it was great. And we even put her daughter to work. It was very simpatico. Yeah, I put Hannah to work, man. It was like she was
tired. She had fun.
She did a great job though. I had her running the slate and I was getting her to like look at scenes, like, and my eyesight has changed in the past year. And so I've got bifocals now. I'm officially a bifocal person.
I hear you. Yeah.
Sometimes that little monitor, I and believe it or not, I actually was trying my hand at manual focus that night. Probably not the greatest night to choose to try that, but I just was like, I'm really going to go manual focus. So there are times I utilize Hannah's eyes. I'm like, Hannah, does this look focused? Because the little monitor is only about 7 inches. So I'm surprised Ryan didn't get a picture of me like doing this. I'm like looking at the monitor just completely. And what's a bummer is with my eyesight, it's close up that bothers me. So I can't find this happy medium to really see. Cause I mean, it's just so subtle sometimes. And all I could think about is like, dude, I get one shot at this. Like if Honey goes home and this footage is ruined, what can I do?
Yeah.
So I was so nervous about the sound. I was so nervous about the video footage. Like, but at the same time, like I wasn't overly worried about that kind of stuff. Cause we just had so much fun on set that night, and she is such a delight to work with. And she's such a pioneer. One of the things I love about Honey is like, she started out as an actress. She did Monster Vision. She did TV. She did a couple movies. And then she's like, you know what? I want to become an attorney. And that's what she did. I mean, she has 4 degrees, including a Juris Doctorate, which is not easy to get.
No,
she's got her own practice. I mean, like, it's incredible. She really is, I think, one of the shining examples for young women out there of who you can be and what you can do in life. Like I have so much respect for her.
Yes.
Well, that's what my daughter said the other day. We were at a Civil Air Patrol meeting. It was our first time, and we're just checking it out. And they asked them, each kid, like, who's the person you look up to, blah, blah, blah. And she says, probably my mom. I about fell over. And, and they asked why. And she said, because my mom makes up her mind to do something and she does it. And she just does it.
Yeah.
She just figures it out and does it. And I thought, okay, at least something I'm doing is right.
I mean, for a teenage girl to say that about her mom, that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah,
I would capture that moment in a bottle and keep it because, 6 months from now, she's gonna be like, oh, my mom. You know,
Yeah.
at least that's how I went as a teenager. It's like, 1 minute it's like, hey, my mom's pretty great. And then 6 weeks later, it's like, oh God, it's my mother.
I think that's pretty universal.
Yeah. I think it is.
Okay, do we have an idea when the movie is actually going to be, and where and when will the movie be displayed?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're the plan right now is to have it wrapped by November, like edited and everything. We want to be done by November. We've got this we had to kind of take like a month hiatus, so we're picking up production again next month.
Okay.
And so I'm hoping to be edited, ready to go in the can, working on premieres and getting out there by November.
Awesome.
Very cool.
At the latest.
Very cool.
Yes. That I mean, I love a good paranormal movie, and I love a good vampire movie. And it sounds like you kind of married the two with the paranormal, because you said that they're a paranormal group, but then there's a vampire twist. So I'm intrigued. I'm very, very intrigued by this movie.
I can't wait for people to see
I haven't even read the whole script. I don't even know what's going on. It's like, I want to see it.
You just know what you were involved in, and that's all you need to know.
It's like a secret.
It's funny. I want so badly to tell people like everything about the movie, but at the same time, it's kind of fun to keep people in suspense so much at the same time.
Yeah, I've run across movies like that where it's just like you love it so much and you want to tell everybody everything about it, but at the same time you don't want to ruin it for them. You want to be like, just trust me, it's a good movie. I can't really tell you much more.
Just come, hey. Just come around and say hi. This is my daughter who helped on the movie, but she's just got my bag.
Hi.
Hannah, you cannot be shy.
She's like,
you
here's
cannot
my
be
hair.
shy.
Show your face a little bit.
There's my hair. Look at my hair.
Hannah, tell us what you did on the movie that night. What was your job?
She's gonna be shy and embarrassed now.
Yeah.
Baby.
Now she's gonna melt into the ground.
Tell them real quick. She goes, I don't remember. Yes, you do. You helped Bryan. What did you do to help Bryan? The slate.
Yeah, the slate.
And what else? You helped Bryan with what else? Yeah. He was bragging on you just now. She's being shy.
Like, don't tell me that. Yeah, like her title that night was creative director. Like, but she was a big help. We needed somebody to run the slate, and I needed her eyes. So it was Hannah was great, man. She was a trooper. Poor girl was on her feet, I think, for 4 hours straight, basically.
She was tired. She was late. It was late. We'd driven and we'd been traveling for a couple of days, and she was just pooped out. She was just like, I want to go home. I want to go to bed. But she did it. She did a good job. Now she gets some real fancy credits, don't you?
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, now that she's had a little taste of the entertainment industry, maybe she'll
I think she'll eventually wind up doing some stuff. She loves photography, and she says she wants to do some acting, and so I think she'll wind up doing some stuff.
Well, there you go.
She wants to do a paranormal YouTube channel, so we're working on that. We actually have someone who's agreed to be a sponsor to help us get some of the equipment, and we've got someone else who wants to help us with our first shoot, giving us a location. And so it's just in the beginning phases.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I mean, if you need any help with that, I used to belong to a paranormal research group. So
we're trying to get equipment and figure out things to do. So I'd love to talk to you about that.
Yeah. So call me.
So to Hannah's credit, can you imagine sitting in a car all day long, showing up on a film set at like 7 p.m. You're exhausted, you're tired, you just want to go to bed, and now you're having to deal with this really high energy director that's like making you, because like I'm very high energy on set. That's who I am. Like I'm just, I'm full of adrenaline. I'm like, let's go. Like I'm the joke with my cast now is that apparently what I do is I'll do a take and I'll say, cut, perfect. Let's do it again. Apparently I do that all the time. I'll tell them it's perfect, and I'm like, let's do it again. So this poor girl has been in the car all day long. I bribed her with ice cream, to be honest. Like, I got her Bryan ice cream.
Hey, whatever works.
and she, so she's having to deal with like super high energy director. She can't sit. She's like standing on her feet for 4 hours. She was a trooper, man. Hannah was awesome.
I mean, I'm not saying I can be bought with ice cream, but I can be bought with ice cream. Let's lay it right out there. Ice, really, food and alcohol, and I'm your girl. So,
Yeah.
You can just pay us an ice cream.
Yeah. I constantly tease my friends. I'm like, whichever one of us goes first has to remember I'm only showing up to the funeral if there's food. And they're like,
Right?
seriously?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I must be fed.
I told Hannah, I said, when I die, I want to be cremated and I want you to have a big old party. I want everybody to have fun.
Yeah,
exactly.
No
I'm
moping
yeah.
around. No
To me,
moping
like,
and crying. Everybody have fun.
Yeah, I mean, you could cry like that. I'm with you, man. Like you can. I tell people you can cry later. Like if you're playing emotional, sappy music at my funeral, you're doing it wrong. I want people
That's
laughing, telling embarrassing, funny stories about me. I want just everybody laughing because I mean it's supposed to be a celebration of life, right? So like,
yeah,
celebrate my life. I'll never understand playing sad music at funerals. It's already such a sad enough thing.
Yeah.
Honey, I want to know, like, what was your overall experience that night? Were you nervous the entire time? Did you get comfortable?
I was definitely nervous because, I was nervous when I was back on the anniversary special, in March, getting on the set. I was nervous. And Hannah was surprised because she doesn't ever think about me being nervous because I'm not the kind of person that goes around going, oh my God, I'm nervous and freaking out the whole time. But I was nervous. I mean, this is 2 things that I've got in front of the camera this year, and I haven't done it in forever.
yeah.
I haven't had any acting classes in forever. And, as an actress, you're always taking classes and you're always perfecting your skill. And I put all that stuff aside.
Yeah.
So when I told Bryan we were going to Kentucky, and he was like, oh, well, we're shooting, da, da, da. And I said, yeah, I could come, it's not that much further out of the way for us. And all the way there, I was like, oh my God, I hope I do a good job. I really was nervous. I wanted to do a good job for him because it really meant something for him. This was his dream. He wanted to go to film school, and that didn't work out. So he just was brave, and he was going to okay, I'm just going to do this. And, anytime someone is trying hard to do a good job and follow their dream. Are you sneaking out of here? My daughter's sneaking out of here. She's like, you want to help them and help them do a good job and have fun. And I don't know, I was a nervous wreck, but I was just, I learned a long time ago is that, my daughter, I tell her this all the time, do it afraid. And even if you're nervous, who cares? You're going to do the best you can do. And if it's not good enough, fine. But you won't know until you do it.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm always telling her to just go for it. Who cares? What are they going to do? Chop you up and eat you? I mean,
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Either they like it or they don't. So you just move on if they don't. Yeah. I mean, we had a great time. We drove down there. The drive was beautiful. I was tired. And we met up with Bryan at my daughter's favorite restaurant, Texas Roadhouse, of course. And
can't blame her there.
You can't go wrong. And consistency everywhere you go. And then, of course, meeting up with Bryan was exciting and fun. But we had talked on the phone, so I kind of, I knew his personality. I knew we were going to get along fine. And it's just like the moment he walked in, I was like, oh, hey, it's Bryan. It was
Very
like my
cool.
long lost best buddy from high school, or something. And we ate, we talked, we shared stories. We had a wonderful time. My daughter's shy, even conversed, which is unusual.
Very cool.
And then we went straight over there and met everybody at the Airbnb. And everybody was kind. But yeah, Bryan was funny because he kept saying, well, what outfit do you want to, which outfit do you think you'll be most comfortable in? I'm like, Bryan, this is your character. What would this character wear? It's not a matter of am I comfortable and do I like it? It's what would this character be wearing in this scene? And he was so nervous. He wanted music. I'm like, it's not my story. But we tried them on, and he picked the one that he thought was best. And it did turn out to be probably the most comfortable one. So it all worked out.
Oh, there you go.
Everybody there was easygoing, easy to get along with, fun to work with, friendly. interesting, diverse. I mean, it's just like this. It was a crew. It was a crew
Very
of
cool.
artists who all had their own little something to add. And, everyone was, oh, we want our picture taken with you. And it's funny because I haven't been in this world in so long. So I'm like, people want their picture with me.
You're like, okay, whatever.
As a lawyer, my clients don't like me because I'm bossing around. The other lawyers don't like me because I'm a blonde bimbo bitch that's, not doing what they want. And the judges, are not very happy because I'm not always saying and doing what they want. And my daughter's not always happy and think I'm great because she's not getting her way. So for people to be like, oh, honey, we love you. And I'm like, wow, I haven't had this feeling in so long. But
It's
no,
like, I'm just going to
Yeah.
absorb all of this.
yes, it was just like, this is great. I'm not in Indiana. These are some new cool people. They're artistic. They're fun. It's just like, oh, I was in heaven.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
in heaven. And it was funny because as we were doing the scene where I'm doing the dishes, it just, I'm like, oh yeah, I missed this. This is fun. This is really cool. And getting to see my daughter helping and getting involved and her being a part of it and making new friends. I mean, it was just 100% positive experience all the way around. The drive back the next day wasn't so good. We were tired. We were
Well, I can
really
imagine.
tired.
Oh my God.
I
After
can
filming
only
all night,
imagine.
yeah.
Yeah. And considering that it is, orange barrel season, I think everywhere you go with road construction, driving is just insane
Well, it was
anymore.
just a much longer trip back because we went to Kentucky. We stopped and went to the Kentucky Derby horse Churchill Downs Museum.
Yeah.
And then we went to Lexington and did stuff in Lexington and spent the night. And then we drove on to Knoxville. And so, it's like a shorter visit. So we went all the way from Knoxville all the way back to Indiana. And I got home, I was tired. It was the first time I drank Red Bull since I took a law school exam, since graduating law school. And
Gotcha.
it was tiring. I'm not as young as I used to be. I just think I am.
It took you about a week to fully recover from that trip.
Oh, I was exhausted. Yeah.
Now, whereabouts in, you said Indiana?
Yeah, I'm in Bloomington, Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Oh
okay.
my gosh.
Because we are in Lebanon, which is the halfway mark between Indy and Lafayette on 65.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, we
So,
need to get together then.
Yeah.
Because we're both from Terre Haute as well, Indiana State. And, well, I went the whole time. She didn't.
Yeah.
That's another story.
I was
Well,
invited-
we're planning a trip. We're planning a trip, and we maybe actually do it next week up to look at Purdue. My daughter's
Gotcha.
going to
Yeah.
college
That's,
next year.
yeah, we're right on the way.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe we'll have to be in contact and visit with you on the way there or back or something because she wants to look at Purdue. So we're going to drive up there.
Sure,
Okay. Yeah.
Purdue's
Purdue's a
great
good university. Even though there are people in our family that are totally IU and Ball State, I recognize that there are other universities in Indiana.
Well, with me being a flight attendant, they have the flight school at Purdue, and so I have a lot of pilots are from Purdue.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. Well, she's interested in aerospace engineering
Perfect.
or
There you
physics
go.
or something to that effect. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, because
That'd be right up her alley.
because
then.
isn't it like in Indiana, it's either Purdue or ISU for pilots.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Well, she wanted to
So-
be a pilot forever, and now it's like now she's scared. But that's why we went over to the Civil Air Patrol because you can be a
Right.
member there for a year and get your pilot's license by the end of the year for free.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
wow.
there you go.
Very cool.
There you go. But yeah, you said she's doing aeronautical engineering.
She's thinking about either a degree in business or aerospace engineering. but
I
we'll
mean,
see.
she could minor in the business because that would help,
Oh yeah.
you know.
There's nothing wrong with the
Not that I
business,
throw out
it's
life
full
advice
on.
for other people's children, but
And she likes other things too, like the photography and movies and videos and stuff. That's why we're going to do the YouTube.
Sure.
She's interested in that. So she's got a creative side as well. And that's why I wanted her to come with us. And I knew that with Bryan's personality and that he would be gracious and kind and it would be a good experience for all of us. And for her to kind of get her feet wet,
yeah,
Oh yeah,
It
definitely.
was good for both of us, I think.
yeah. Give her a little taste of the business in a
Yeah,
safe
see what
environment.
interests are. I mean,
Yeah.
you're 16. Who knows what you want to do, But
Oh god.
Yeah.
I'm 52 and I still don't know.
yeah.
So
Well,
there you
here I
go.
am nearly
Yeah.
60 years old, and I'm thinking, do I really want to be a lawyer forever? Because it's not a lot of fun. It's not fun at all.
I can understand that. My mom worked in the court system for 13 years in Boone County. So
Yep.
yeah, I've known just about everybody within the, judges, lawyers, the whole nine. And yeah, there are stories that I've heard that I'm just like, why do you do this? And they're like,
And it's not that lucrative in a small town too. So I'm thinking, why am I doing something I'm not making a lot of money when I could be doing something fun, making this much or more? So
yeah,
it's kind of a no-brainer at this point.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like I think it, and I kind of feel like the good Lord is leading me back towards getting back into the industry because things are suddenly just falling in my lap like crazy.
well, yeah,
Well,
Never
you're
be
in or Brian. There you go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Never be afraid to
Christian-
reinvent yourself. Yeah.
It's been so cool to get to one, have gained a lifelong friend who I consider, I mean, Honey knows this, she's family to me. And, I go to the ends of the earth for her. And it's been really neat to get to kind of step back and watch all these really cool things happening in her life. I'm grateful for how powerful nostalgia is in my generation, because, we're, when Joe Bob was talking about, when he was approached the idea of doing another Monster Vision type thing, he scoffed the idea. It's like, nobody wants to see something that's been done 20 years ago. Like, it's not, and I don't think he could have been more wrong. I mean, it has, The Last Drive-In has this huge following. And then when people, when Honey went on that month, I mean, I was on Twitter watching and people just exploded. It's like, holy crap, it's Honey. Like, I mean, everybody was so excited to see her return. And that's the reception she keeps getting. People are just so excited to see her. I mean, like, everybody loved her,
Very
and
cool.
so they're just so excited and pumped to see her making this return. And I mean, there's going to be some amazing things, but I want people, I mean, I know the real Honey, and she is even more incredible of a human being than you can ever imagine. She is the sweetest, kindest, one of the most wonderful people I know. And I will always be grateful to call her a friend and to call her family. I will always be grateful for the relationship she and I have. And she has no idea the gift she gave me being in my movie. Like I said, I'm a huge Quentin Tarantino fan. If I got teamed up with Quentin Tarantino tomorrow, it wouldn't hold the candle to get to have her in my movie. Like, I love this woman immensely, and she is amazing. And anybody out there that's looking for an actress, like, you can't go wrong with Honey. She is so awesome. I cannot brag on her enough.
Thank
She is
you. You're
wonderful.
so sweet.
Very
I
cool.
love you. You're
Well,
a
this has
sweetheart.
been like amazing talking to you guys. But I know, Honey, you've got a full schedule today
Yes.
with daughter stuff. And we have daughter stuff we need to get to too. So
If you have any
quick plugs, anything you want to
say,
throw out, or
all good.
Well, I'm trying to get things organized so that fans can find me easier. And Brian's gracious to say that he's going to help me with the website. But I do have a
Awesome.
Facebook page. It's just under Honey. So I'm starting to try to grow my fan base again on there, so people can kind of keep up with what I'm doing right there until Brian and I can get this website up and moving and running, or whatever you call it. I just got an offer to be in another film. They just sent me the script, and I don't want to disclose that yet, but it's filming in Virginia, so that's going to be a really long drive. But I can keep people posted on that. But and then we're working on the H&H hunting the paranormal. My daughter Hannah and Honey.
Okay.
So we're trying to get that going, and we're supposed to be going. The first location right now that we're looking at is the Silence of the Lamb house, the house that was in Silence of the Lamb.
Yes.
So the guy who owns that was also working on the crew for Last Drive-In when I was there, who was the guy helping me get in and out of the cake.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So I ran into him at the Jamboree, and they want to give us their B&B for a night or two to shoot our paranormal thing. So
there you go.
Wow.
Rock
it's
and
funny
roll.
because, like I was telling Brian, it's like all these little weird things are starting to kind of just happen, and so we're just going with it. I wish I had more time. I wish I had like an assistant or something, because I could do 2 or 3 times as much, but in time, I guess. But we're just doing the little things we can, because Hannah starts school back in August. But
yeah, it seems like they start school like so soon after they finish.
Yeah, and then I have my own script that I've shared with Bryan and some other people that I'm hoping eventually to get produced. So I'm looking for producers who want to help me produce my script. It's a female vigilante movie.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's not a horror film, but there's a lot of killing in it. It's more of an action. But I could turn her into a vampire or something, you know.
I mean, never be afraid to try something. It might work, it might not. You never know. But
a vampire.
Yeah, but it sounds like you've got a lot of stuff kind of on the burners,
No, but
kind of simmering.
But I do like the female vigilante thing, where I had an idea where you had a team of women underground vigilantes, if you will, assassins, taking out horrible men.
Well, she's taking out pedophiles.
There you go.
There
Yeah,
you go.
exactly.
There you go.
There you go. Rock and
Yeah.
roll.
Well, I went to as a lawyer, I went to a continuing legal education class that was on sex trafficking in the state of Indiana. And it's huge. It's really huge because they come through on 65 up on the way to Chicago. And it's really bad. And it kind of just gave me the idea. It parlayed into, a movie.
Sure.
Yeah. You never know where inspiration will strike. I mean, it can come to you anywhere, really.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that does sound very intriguing. I'll be excited when that one.
Yeah.
There's big things down the road for Honey.
Yeah.
She's got some really cool stuff happening.
I hope so. I still need to pay off my student loans, I gotta get to work.
Yeah. I think pretty much everybody on the planet's gonna die owing student loan money.
I know,
so yeah.
But no, I hope that eventually. I know, Bryan, you guys are talking about doing this festival thing coming up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a Knoxville Film Festival has something called the 7-day shootout, and one of my team said, "Oh man, you guys should." So we have this guy named Ryan Shipley who does our behind the scenes stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Incredibly talented guy. So we have a Facebook chat for the team, and he's like, "Oh, you guys should totally do this." And I'm thinking like, "Well, man, we haven't even finished the other movie yet, but like everybody wants to do it, so." So I'm like, all right, fine, we'll do it. So we have a couple of ideas. It'll be interesting to do that. It's been such an incredible experience. I'm so privileged and lucky. I feel like I've gotten opportunities and had experiences that some people don't get. And I'm very grateful for that. Like I'll always be grateful to Honey. Like one of the cool things about Honey is she's been with me since the beginning. Like I reached out to her at the very beginning of this journey. So she has been able to watch every step of it, and to be able to say that, like, something that started out as a 2-minute film challenge from someone, I actually have Honey Michelle Gregory in my movie. Like I could pay $1 million and it wouldn't be enough for the gift you gave me in that.
Well, and I feel like it's a mutual gift. It's a mutual gift.
I never would have thought, less than a year later, you and I'd be best friends. Like, I mean, like I never would have imagined how close you and I would become in all of this.
I think it's great, because being here as a Texas former actress, moving into a small town where people have their own ideas, how people are supposed to be and behave, I've never really fit in. And it's been hard for me to make friends. And the acting world has always been kinder to me. So it's nice when Bryan reached out, I thought, my God, people remember who I am. Somebody wants to talk to me. Someone wants to be my friend. This is someone calling not with a problem. Like, my family stole all my money, or, what do I do? Or, something, it's like, oh, someone has something positive. And then he's a Christian and a good, kind person and has, good ideas and a good crew to work with. I was like, these kind of things don't come along without a reason. So I just said, okay, Lord, if this is something you want me to do, make it happen. And by golly, it did. So
there you go. And I mean, who knows?
Go ahead.
It could lead to, I mean,
my only concern is a lot of the people in the industry have a different religious beliefs, and I'm an inclusive person. That's their right as an American. I don't have a problem with that, but they might have a problem with me. So we'll see how it goes.
You never know. You never know. I mean,
we would love to be talking like all day.
oh yeah, we can talk movies all day long.
But,
seriously.
Gotta save for the next time.
Yes.
Okay.
When the movie finally
When we have it done,
drops,
yeah.
we'll have to have you guys back. Hopefully you can, I don't know, pick up streaming services are kind to shorts now. So
I will make sure that you guys see it.
yes, definitely.
okay, yes.
Definitely. We definitely want to see it.
You know that I'm there. I love you too. Like, you guys are
I
so
appreciate
amazing.
that.
Thank
I
you.
am absolutely on this show anytime you want me. You know?
Yes, definitely. Like I said, definitely once you got the movie done and all of that, I will do an actual Drunken Housewife review of it. And put it out there into the universe for you. So
I appreciate that.
because there's
So I'm just curious, are you guys showing the video or just the audio, or what
we
do you
do
guys?
both. We do both.
So the first is on YouTube, YouTube channel, Drunken Housewife Reviews. And then we take the audio and put it on Anchor and Spotify and Google. Just the audio part and you can find it on those platforms, but it's on YouTube first because when we switched to interviewing people, we were first reviewing movies, but when we started interviewing people, it's like people want to see who we're interviewing. They don't want to just hear it.
Yeah, because
they want to have the choice.
Yeah.
So
because we could be sitting here saying, "Oh yeah, we're interviewing Honey," and people are like, "Yeah, right. Let me see her.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let me see her. I'm not gonna believe it." You could have some random woman on there going, "Hi, I'm Honey." No, look,
Yeah,
there she
exactly.
is.
So, yeah.
Yep.
There she is, right there. The woman,
Well, that sounds
the legend.
wonderful. That sounds great. Just send me a link. I'd like to put it on my fan
Definitely.
page.
Yeah.
We
As
do.
soon as we get it all edited, we'll
Okay.
definitely send you guys a link. So
Sounds
yeah,
wonderful.
this has been Bryan Parkerson and the Honey Tribute Hour, Honey Michelle Gregory,
Yeah.
talking about their experiences filming Blood Redemption.
Blood
correct?
Redemption.
Repentance.
Blood
Blood
Redemption.
repentance.
Blood Repentance.
Yeah.
Repentance. I loved the original title. I cannot let go
Yeah.
of the original title because that was
Blood
just
Repentance.
Blood Repentance.
Yeah.
Because I love Knoxville too, but
It's a good title. It's a
say
good
la
title,
vie,
but-
say la vie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully she'll have a good time with their film festival.
Yeah. Whatever.
So,
But
yeah.
so yeah, we will definitely have to have you guys back. Once we've actually seen the movie and it's ready for the public to look at, and we'll do a review and the whole nine. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. Thank you so much.
definitely.
Sounds
So
great.
yeah. So thank you guys for coming on,
Thank
and
you.
we will check you out later.
My pleasure.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. See ya.
Okay, so that was Bryan Parkerson and Honey Michelle Gregory.
Exactly.
Always fun having Bryan on. Once again, we talked for another half an hour after we stopped recording.
Yeah. Pretty much said we gotta go.
Yeah.
But we
but
still enjoyed it. It's fun.
we love
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
that. Yeah. And it's like, Bryan, I think, is one of those people that we need to set aside 5 hours for because we love talking to him.
Oh yeah.
And Honey is absolutely amazing. So
That's very cool that she's nearby. We might hang out and
Never
talk
know.
some shop. You
Never
never
know.
know.
never know. So we will be back with more interviews, and we're still trying to figure out how to do another actual review.
The actual review. We're actually gonna go deep into one of the movies we've been talking about.
Yes. So lots of upcoming stuff to keep track of. So until next time, bye.